Hello all, Michelle Darby here, Lady Thermomixalot, and welcome to my impromptu little cook along. So we're going to cook a little pineapple upside down cake. So it's all authentic and real here. I'm in my pajamas still because that's how my day's going. So I like to cook and get things done organised. So my day's going to be all planned out and it makes things a little easier for me. So I'll be doing shopping later, but we've got, the reason I'm doing this particular cake is we've got a 70s theme at work tomorrow, and I'm taking the pineapple upside down cake as the 70s inspired item of cooking that I'm bringing along. So I haven't done this recipe before, but it looks quite delicious and it is in ounces. So I've got all of my items prepared earlier so that it makes it easier for me to go through in my cooking, and it will weigh them in ounces as we go through in this particular recipe. So that makes it easy. So yes, welcome along. It is Tuesday morning and we're coming to the end of June, and I'll also be highlighting to you that we have that trade up offer for the TM7. If you would like to trade in an older item and get a TM7, we've only got until the 28th of June. So please do not wait and miss out. Great opportunity to get a TM7 in your kitchen and trade in your old Thermomix or a appliance that replaces one of the functions that the Thermomix can do for you. So reach out to me and I can help you through that process and make it an easy, simple item for you. It's been very popular. I've had lovely lot of people coming along and supporting me with that. So if you can share my details with your connection of people, I really appreciate that. It helps me build my little business and helps each and every little bit out. So let's get to it. So we've pulled the recipe up here in CookieDoo, so you can see that it's a lovely big screen here, and let's start cooking. I can highlight all the functions to you in a live cooking demonstration. That way you get to ask all the questions and things you might do. So let's get cooking. So we're going to start, push the start button. Oven's already on, so I'm going to the next step. So we're going to take our lid off and we're going to pop in the brown sugar. So it weighs as we go. So the scales are in the bottom. I have pre-weighed this already, so I'm hoping that it all goes to plan. And we don't want to touch the side of the bowl as we're weighing in because that does affect the weight. Spot on. So that ticks that off as we go through. And yeah, delightfully done. So the next part it's telling us is to do is the unsalted butter. So I've already got that already done and prepared here. So it makes it once again easier for me to do my cooking. So we're going to weigh that in again. It says 4 ounces. We're slightly over, but it's happy with that, so it ticks it off. Then I go next, and it's going to mix that all together. Popping my lid on, insulated bowl so it makes it a little quieter and retains the heat. So that's not too bad. That's actually really quiet. So just reach out, let me know if there's any comments, you've got questions about this particular recipe. As I said, once again, I haven't cooked this one, so I hope it all goes to plan. You won't see the end result. I will have to show that with you with another picture later on. Hopefully all goes well. I didn't want to do 2 of the recipe. I only wanted the 1, so I don't want to be wasteful. So this particular recipe again is going to work tomorrow. So it jingles when it tells me that it's done, and we're going next. Excuse me. So step 1, it's going to melt it now. So you can see what it looks like on the inside there. It looks almost like rice bubbles. So I've blended it together, combining it. So now we've put the lid on and it's going to melt it. It takes 5 minutes to melt. So it's melting. That comes up to the temperature. This one's 250 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to ask Alexa, what is 250 degrees Fahrenheit compared to Celsius? Hello, Alexa. Oh, Alexa's decided not to work for me. Isn't that typical? Alexa, what is 250 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius?
250 degrees Fahrenheit, about 121.1 degrees.
121 degrees for us. Okay, so while we're doing that, I'm going to flip to the little chart and show you the offer. So back here, and for me, I've just enjoyed cooking with my Thermomix. It doesn't solve all the problems of the world, but it certainly solves some of my problems for being organised. It takes the time out of cooking. I don't have to think as much about it. So if any of those things resonate with you, let me know. And it also has functions in there to, we've got the peeler on there so you can peel your potatoes in many options there. There's also, if you've got dietary restrictions, you can cook things that are according to the needs that you have, and it saves money. So that's always a good benefit, like making your own nut butter. I've made my own jams. I've got a little bit sitting here that's left over as my tester. So I made it's beautiful, a passion fruit, pineapple and passion fruit jam. Oh, that get in the picture. Yeah, so you can see that. Make your own jams. Pizzas, makes the pizza dough, oh my gosh, like a dream. So I was at the Wellbeing Expo on Sunday and talked to many people, and it was lovely to hear conversations about what's meaningful to them in the kitchen or what are some of the things that they struggle with. And one particular lady, when I mentioned the Thermomix, she said she likes to do a lot of cooking, and I totally understand where she comes from. I enjoy cooking. Some people don't. And she mentioned, when I mentioned that it makes fabulous pizza dough, she just looked at me and went, oh, that's actually a chore for me. So you can see there are some benefits there for everybody. So we've got 1 minute left to go on that. And you can start to smell. That is just smelling beautiful. So it tells us the temperature, and the outside of the bowl is insulated. So it's not hot. The red light is telling me that that is heating up. So it's all safe to touch on the outside. So it's also great to cook with children. They can do it as it's step by step, and it guides us through the process. And as I said, another benefit for me, as I said, I'm not scared to try new things. So this recipe, as I said, I haven't done before. All of the instructions are in there, and I've actually got the thermosensor that we can use in this one to help with the recipe to make sure that we get the exact temperature. This is also in as a host reward for this month. So yes, great opportunity. Now the challenging thing I'm going to have in my one is the dish. This is the little piece that sits on the side. So it holds your Thermomix sensor, but it's not going to sit so well in my particular dish that I had. It sits better up that way, but hopefully the batter's going to hold it, and we can always see how we go with that. So then you pull it out and we'll pop it in, but it's not going to sit as nicely. So we'll just have to MacGyver it and see what happens. I didn't think of that, but that's the way it goes. I'll pop that to the side, and we're just about ready. It's going to make its noise. There we go. And next. So it says pour the mixture into the round cake pan. So it's approximately 9 inches to 10 inches, which is what this one is. So that converts to 9.5 inches equals about 24 centimetres. So this is the dish that I have that works for me. I have a lot of other ones, but this is the one I've got today that's going to work. So you can see how that has all melted. Smells are beautiful. So pour the mixture into the round cake tin. So I'm going to try to get it around so I'm not putting my arms to the back. So you can see that's going in. That's all beautiful and, oh, creamy and honey. All the butter and the sugar. I know they're not good, but gee, it's a one-off bit of fun. And you're allowed to make these things as well. Okay, so get it all that out. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And I'm just going to make sure that it goes all the way around the outside of the bowl. Okay, pop my bowl back on. So we'll go next. Place the bowl back into position. And I'm just going to make sure that that goes all the way around the edges so that it coats the entire round part of the bottom of the cake. The upside down cake. As I said, this was a 70s inspired theme. It's just a bit of fun for my workplace. It creates conversations. We're sharing our culture. We talked about the 70s and what cooking was like when we grew up. It also helped me have conversations with my mum, and I'd forgotten about some of the recipes that we did. I'm going to have a taste of that. Oh, yum. So that's a lovely caramel. And she reminded me of a dessert that I liked, and it's politically incorrect, but at the time, we evolve and we learn as we grow. So at the time, it was called the 𝐂𝐍𝐍𝐄𝐓 biscuit, 𝐂𝐶𝐓 cake. So they were the dolls that were in the 70s, which now are no longer appropriate. They were the 𝐂𝐶𝐓 biscuits, then they changed them to scallywags, and then in the 90s they pulled them off the shelf. So they no longer exist, but you can make that recipe with the chocolate ripple biscuits. The flavour is slightly different from my memory, but there you go, a little bit of a story. So, okay, place a small bowl into the lid mixture. Oh, so I've done that. So I've drained the pineapple juice from my pineapple. So I have already done that ahead of time. So I'm going to skip past that. And then it says carefully arrange 6 to 7 pineapple rings on this. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll put one in the middle. Of course, you don't throw it on. Try and get it all in there to fit. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 6 there. My trusty tea towel beside me. So then we'll go next. Now we're going to add our icing sugar. So you can make, well, not well, I'm going to let you know if you didn't. You can make your own icing sugar in your Thermomix as well. So it saves on cost. You're only buying the one sugar. If you use raw sugar, which is a good way for keeping out the refined, it's bleached. So you can, this particular one is an icing sugar, but you can make your own and it's a little bit yellower. So as long as that doesn't affect your recipe, there you go. So we're going to go 6 ounces. There we go, 6 ounces of our sugar, and it's ticking it off yet again. And then we want, unsalted butter. I didn't get the rest of the butter out. We can do that. I didn't read my recipe properly. Luckily, I left that out. So this one is certainly not a diet-friendly recipe. It's got a decent amount of butter in there. But that's okay. All right, so let's weigh that in. So I've diced it into cubes at room temperature. It's pretty much at room temperature. It's been sitting out. Just makes it easier when you're blending it in. Doesn't make as much noise, and it does it evenly. Little bit more when we're there. Oh, done. Okay. Keep that to the side. You can make your own butter as well. I always do that when I find reduced cream at the shops, and I make my butter then. So next, then it's going to mix that to popping our lid back on. So it tells you that. It won't do it until the lid goes on. And off we go. So this could be another one that you can add to your collection of recipes that you enjoyed using. Desserts, making sure that you've got a nice selection there when you need to cook something so that you don't have to go searching again. So that's another benefit. You can save them in your recipe collections. So we're going to scrape down the bowl, sides of the bowl. Got a lovely long big spatula that comes with your purchase of your TM7. So that's what comes with it, as well as the beautiful large Varoma dish. So it's lovely for layered cooking. So I've got all that in, trying to get as much as we can incorporated in. And so that still had a bit of that caramel in there as well. It didn't ask us to clean the bowl, so just letting you know that. So now we're adding the 2 eggs. One, 2. I tend to hit mine on the pointy edge of the inner side of the bowl. That's what I do that works for me. So we're going to tick that we've done that. It wants a teaspoon of dark rum. So I've got a spiced rum, Bundaberg spiced rum. So it's only got a little bit, so just let people know if they aren't able to have any alcohol, halal or something like that, that you don't add that. There might be some substitutes as well, so you could also use the rum flavouring. 1 tablespoon, not 1 teaspoon. That's gone in. I dropped that down there. Okay, so we've done that, and then, tick that, and then we want 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. That goes in. Some people can add a little bit more of that flavouring as well if you like. So I'm going to tip that and then go next. It's going to mix it again. You can also clean as you go. That's the benefit as well that I have enjoyed. I've been able to keep my kitchen a lot cleaner because as it's doing those processes, you can go off and clean your kitchen to avoid saving it all to the end. But because I'm wanting to stay in front of the camera for you, I'm going to keep some of those to the side and fix that later. All of these can go in the dishwasher as well, and your bowl can go in the dishwasher. But as I said, I always put it on for a quick clean. That's one of the things I like about my Thermomix too. So we'll go next. So we're going to add the reserve pineapple juice. So you can see that in there. Starting to look lovely. So it's going to 4 ounces of it. This is the pineapple juice that we reserve from the tin. I think I might have used a little bit for something else, but there we go. It's going to tick that off for us. Beautiful. Next, all-purpose flour. So 8.5 ounces of flour. I've already put my flour, the baking powder and the salt. So they are already there into this particular bowl of mixture. So we're going to pop that all in. It's weighing it for us as we go. So it's a little bit more because we also had those other bits. My dishes to the side. So that's in, and we go next, and then we're going to mix it again. I'm not worried about putting my cap on because it's not going to go everywhere. So I'll show you what that looks like up there while that's blending together. So you can see that looks lovely, ready for us to pour the batter over the top of that next. Right, and that's ready. So we'll go next. So it says scrape down the sides of the bowl yet again, making sure we get everything included. Yum, yum, yum. it's nice to make a cake for a special occasion. As I said, we don't have them every day, so it's a little bit of fun to make. So I'm enjoying making this one. And then I'm going to pop that in the oven. I'm going to go and have my shower, and then I will be moving on to the next part of my day. Ooh, lovely. Next. So it wants us to mix it for another 15 seconds to make sure we get all of that in there. And those of you who've been concerned about the colour of the black, I've had some people mention that. Does it come in white? No, it doesn't. I actually also find that keeping this clean is a lot easier than my TM6. So it just seems to be able to wipe clean, certainly the screen as well. When you've got sticky, mucky hands, that's not an issue. Keeps it nice and clean and easy. So now it's asking us to pour that stunning batter that you can see in there. Looking beautiful, and I'll show you here in the front. That looks lovely, and we're going to pour that over our layer. So I'm just going to move the Thermomix slightly out the way. Carefully pour your batter over the pineapple ring cake. Might move that further and see if I can get this to highlight, move things around a little bit to make sure that I can get this lovely center. There we go. So you can see that. I'm going to pour the batter over this. So as you watch from that screen, you'll see it better in the top screen here. So I hold the base of mine here because it is quite heavy. Getting all of that out. So I haven't done this before. I've got to be mindful of where I'm placing it. It didn't ask us to grease the side, which I found interesting, which normally you grease a cake tin. So I'm hoping it all plays nicely when it comes out. So as I said, I'm following the instructions. I sometimes go a bit rogue, and I do go by instinct as well as a cook, but I've done exactly what it said. So I'm guessing all of the juices and that's going to go in and around, and it will help bring that out when we go to tip it out. But that part I'll be doing off screen because I haven't got time to prepare another one. So you'll have to come back and see how we go. So that is going in quite nicely. The batter's easy to pour in, so just letting you know that for anyone that's concerned about how that looks and how it works. And then I'm going to get the last little bits off, and we're making sure that we're trying to go in the one direction so we're not affecting cutting our spatula on the very sharp blades, because they are. That's the whole point. We want them to be sharp so that it does the tasks that we need it to chop with. Okay, last little bits. I'm trying to get out as much as we can. And then I'm going to grab my other spatula, my knife, that I'm just going to use the back end of, and get the last bits of that out. And then I'm going to work on making sure that I get all of that and as even as I possibly can. Up to the edges. So it is looking like a rather thick batter. So that might actually hold my sensor so that it won't fall down to the bottom, because we don't want it touching the bottom of the dish, because that will affect the weighing, the temperature, sorry. Ooh, looks lovely. Spinning that around. So as I said, if you don't know how to cook much, or you're concerned about how to cook with a baking or things like that, if you've never really ventured into it, I find that once again the Thermomix helps me to be able to do that, because I get the step-by-step guided instructions along the way. Okay, so that's pretty much done. Making sure we're even to the edges, because I want it looking as pretty as possible. Mind you, that is going to be the bottom of the cake, so we're not too fussed over that. And of course I have to do the little sampler taste to make sure we see how that, oops, clean fingers, last little bit there. Don't want to waste not any of it. Now I'm going to do the taste. Tastes like a standard batter to me. Lovely. Now it's asking me to put the sensor in, so just washing my hands, rinsing that off because I got bits everywhere. So I'm now going to move the cake to the side slightly, move my bowl out of the way, and it's asking me to pop the sensor in. So your Thermomix, also the TM7, also has a video function in there. So I'll see if that will come up. So just have to be patient while the camera adjusts. It's got a slight time lapse. There is a video in here. So I'm just going to see if we can get that to come down closer and show the video. So it shows me how to insert the video. So I can push the play function, and that's now going to show me how we put that in there. So as I mentioned to you, there was the side piece, the piece that comes with it, that goes in. And if you've got a straight pan, you'd be putting that in, like on the edge. And then you'd be putting your sensor component part in there. So this is Bluetooth to your device. So then we X out of that. So this is, Bluetooth to your device. Actually, maybe I will still put that in and see what happens on the side, because I don't want it touching the edge. Yeah, it's not going to work as well, is it? So let's see. Just don't want the end touching. Oh, that's really not helping at all, is it? Let's see if we can try the other side. Now that I've put it in there, that's not really helpful at all. It's all icky and gooey. All right, so anyway, we'll just see what happens. It'll tell us the temperature as it's doing. So we're going to go next. So it's got the temperature. It's telling me that it's 70 degrees and it wants to get to, 7 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we're going, so it shows you again how it works. It takes the temperature as it's cooking, and it'll count it down. So it goes into the oven. So, oops, I'm just going to go back to this step here. So start the sensor, keeping it near your device. And so there's a green light that's flickering in there. Back to the step. Bake the cake until the sensor indicates the temperature is reached. So monitoring the status via the cooking center. And it'll also appear on your phone too when you have the app connected to your phone. So all right, so we're going to, go back there, pop it into the oven. Let's go. So that's going into the oven now. And, of course I had the lower oven on and I didn't want that one in there. I'm just moving my trays around because I didn't plan ahead as well. In the top oven. Right, so sorry, I'm back with you now. Sorry for being off screen for the moment there. So that is now in the oven. Bake until the sensor indicates. So it's going to start, so it says roughly 60 minutes. So I can also put a timer on for 60 minutes. So I'm going to put that on my Thermomix here as well. So that's another feature that we have. 60 minutes. So we've got 30. Oh my goodness. And I'm just going to go down one because I push the button and then we go start. So that's now going to count that down. Oops. And then we go back to our recipe. And so it's got the temperature that's in there already. So it's already telling me that it's at 24 so that we can watch that. So we can now go back to our current step. And then it'll tell me while it's still hot, sprinkle the cake with 2 tablespoons of rum and 2 tablespoons of reserved pineapple juice. That's once you bring that out. And then it'll say run a knife around the outside of the edge of the cake and carefully invert it. So we're going to be getting a plate, putting that onto the base and then flicking it back over like this. So then we'll have it coming out and looking beautiful. And then it says serve warm or refrigerate until ready to serve, and it keeps in the fridge for 3 days. So bring out to room temperature. So I can cook that today, so that's perfectly fine. Take it to work tomorrow, and then when we're ready to eat it, we just take it out of the fridge to bring it to room temperature. So there's no problems there. So thank you for coming along and seeing my little cook along. And if you want to know more about the sensor, so see it's going up in degrees. It's already at 80. We want it at 210. So I will watch that temperature perfectly. So then you get a perfectly cooked baked good. Works for breads, anything. You can also use it on steak. So yeah, thank you for coming along and have a fabulous Tuesday and reach out. As I mentioned, there's only a few days left to the trade up. Please don't be disappointed and miss out. It's been a very popular item to take advantage of and get a Thermomix. We also have payment options. I have those available for you that I can give to you. We have Zip and we have Hum. So their payment options, I think Hum's over 40 months interest free. And I think off memory, the Zip one is 36 months interest free when you make with the standard terms and conditions within those. And I can provide that to you as well. Okay. Talk to you soon. Thanks for coming along. Michelle Darby here, Lady Thermomixalot. Bye.